You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 50. I'm Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnhart.
Okay, so we're going to start off today with a couple issues of The Brave and the Bold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We've got
Death by the Ounce.
Yes, it's Brave and the Bold, number 128. It's that great team of Bob Haney and Jim Aparo.
This one has Batman and Mr. Miracle.
Yeah.
Mr. Miracle was invented by Jack Kirby.
Oh, yes, part of his Fourth World saga.
And Big Barda, Mr. Miracle's
wife,
Squeeze or
yeah,
wife,
yeah,
was based on Mrs. Kirby.
That's so funny though, because and you're right, Roz Kirby, but Jack and Roz are both kind of like not really tall people,
mm-hmm.
and Big Barda is like over 6 feet tall, so it's just kind of funny, but
yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Yes, if I was married to somebody and they put me into a comic, I don't know. I don't know what I'd feel about that.
I mean, Roz even helped ink some of his stuff sometimes when
so
I was
I guess she approved.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be flattered by being like you're the inspiration for this beautiful statuesque strong female character that I've created.
Although if you were short, you might be insulted by it.
But it could be like, this is how I see you in my heart, my darling Rosalind.
Oh.
See?
I'm not tall enough for you? Is that what you're saying?
No.
So.
Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about this story. I love Jim Aparo's art on this. He's my favorite Batman artist.
Not bad.
Some of these stories are kind of like, they're weird. But they're maybe not always the greatest stories, but I love Jim Aparo on Batman.
This was written in 1976.
Yeah.
When the Shah was still kind of a friend to the United States.
Oh, the Shah of Iran.
Mm-hmm. This was the character, and he's comes to America, and Batman's got to save him, and Batman loses him kind of stupidly, I thought. I don't even know if I want to explain it, but if Robin was along, then it wouldn't have happened.
Well, right, but I think, at this point that Dick has gone off to college. They had him kind of do that in like in the late part of the Silver Age, or maybe it is just a Bronze Age invention. They have Dick go off to college, or he goes off and he's an adult and having his own adventures, like in some of those Batgirl and Robin team ups we've been reading. And so it's kind of cool to like get back to Batman by himself again, and then it makes a little more sense to do a team up book, Batman and Robin and so. No, it's just kind of Batman and, in this case, Mr. Miracle, who is really cool. He's an escape artist. That's kind of he's a master escape artist, and he is based on Jim Steranko, the comic book artist, who was, among many other things, an escape artist. It was, and I should say, he's still living.
Mm-hmm. The only escape artist I ever known is Houdini.
Well, yeah.
And trying to think of anybody else. I don't think of anybody.
Well,
escape artist comes up again later on in this program.
Yeah, well, that's good. Mm-hmm. Let's carry on.
The Shah comes to America, or the Shah character.
Mm-hmm.
Batman has this clever plan to get him through safely, but the bad guys have a cleverer plan, and they take him. So Batman lies to the president, which is interesting, and figures out how to get the Shah. And
nobody respects Gerald Ford,
Yeah, that's.
Was it Jerry Ford at this time?
I think so. And,
okay.
Yeah, who was our most athletic president? Ironically.
Well, him or maybe Teddy Roosevelt.
No, as an athlete, he was an athlete.
Well, yeah,
and he was more in athletics than anybody else.
I just think of Teddy Roosevelt as like, he's the last American president who actually led men into battle. Well, wait, no, that's not true, because of Eisenhower. But Roosevelt, he led the Rough Riders down in the Mexican-American Wars.
No, Spanish-American Wars.
Spanish, what did I say?
Mexican-American.
Spain, Mexico.
Same difference.
That's so bad, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, Teddy Roosevelt was the 98-pound weakling who made himself up into this He-Man, and was a wonderful.
By the power of Grayskull, I will be the president
Yes,
of
yeah.
America.
It's almost as miraculous as that. He went out and became a cowboy, and he wore these Eastern cowboy clothes, and the cowhands laughed at him, but then they respected him and they followed him to Cuba, where more men died from dysentery than the bullets. But,
Yuck.
yeah, and
So,
bad food.
yeah. So how does Batman enlist the assistance of Mr. Miracle?
Oh, he begs him, and he has this. He begs him, and Mr. Miracle says, "No, I'm trying to become an escape artist." And so it's well, if I can escape from this before you can, then you'll follow me. I said, okay, and so Batman beats him. I mean, he cheats a little bit. I can't remember how.
Yeah, I think they're both frozen, and then Batman had a thing that would like de-ice this thing, like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's funny how Mr. Miracle he's a great superhero, but he's a reluctant one. He'd rather just carry on with his career as a showman.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to read more of Mr. Miracle.
The Kirby stuff is great, and he's been in Justice League and things. He's cool.
Yeah. Well, they find out that the Shaw is in the sunken cruiser named the Gotham City. Wasn't there an aircraft carrier named the Gotham City?
I think there might have been.
Yeah, it was probably a battleship and PT boat and
Sure.
and a seaplane tender named Gotham City too. It's what
Sure. Well,
they forgot, but we remember.
yes, we remember.
Okay, so they get to the sunken treasure, and there's this Granny Goodness.
Oh, Granny Goodness. She's one of Darkseid's chief lieutenants, and she trains and lots of his super villainous cohorts, and she raised / tortured Scott-Free, who's Mr. Miracle, and Barda. Barda was one of Granny Goodness's furies in Darkseid's army before Scott-Free, broke free with Barda and rebelled against Darkseid.
Yeah, let's see this quote: "For those who know and relish evil of the highest style." Cool.
Yeah. Was that Granny Goodness said that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
there's a Dr. Kiev. I wonder where he's from.
Yeah.
But pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the long and the short of it is Batman and Mr. Miracle, they rescue the Shaw and they beat Granny Goodness. So.
Did you have any doubts?
No. I know Granny Goodness seems like a strange character, and she is.
Yes.
She's just, she's like this burly old woman, super villainous. It's really odd.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you expect from a Jack Kirby creation? It's not going to be your average, ho hum stuff.
Yeah.
It just often will just be bizarre. So we have one more issue of Brave and the Bold. It's number 140, and it's Dastardly Events Aboard the Hell Ship, written again by Bob Haney with art by Jim Aparo. It's Batman and Wonder Woman team up.
Note that the first letters of the words equal death.
Yes, it's an acronym for death. Boy.
Yeah, the Hell Ship, which is a great name for a ship. There's this huge ship called Argosy, which means flotilla in Greek.
Okay.
Joseph Conrad used that name too. So somebody took some English classes.
Probably Bob Haney. He wrote it. So.
Mm-hmm. It's atomic powered, and which is a big thing back in the 70s. It's going to have atomic powered aircraft.
Sure.
Powered this, atomic powered that.
So this rich guy.
Oh, he's not a rich guy. He's a gangster whose daughter Esmeralda is captured by this.
By the rich guy. I can't
remember.
By
this. For crying to Demetrius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the Golden Greek, because he's the richest man in the world.
That's the other rich guy.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
but yeah, his daughter is kidnapped by Demetrius, and he enlists Batman to help him. And it turns out Wonder Woman or Diana Prince kind of gets called in or was on it anyway. So
yeah, they work for the UN, or she was working for the UN.
Yeah, well that makes sense because she's the representative to the UN from good grief. Amazon land.
I
I can't.
I forgot what the name of it is.
I'm just gonna blank right now.
Now we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's gonna bug me.
Yeah.
That's so you're like, where's Batman from? Where's he parked the Batmobile? What's that thing called? You know, like that's
Yeah.
it's that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I cannot remember. It doesn't matter.
Welcome to old age.
Hey.
Hey, okay. Well, I'm old. Oh,
Yeah, you are. But
really stupid flash panel at the beginning. Batman, roar like a lion. Wonder Woman, purr like a tigress.
yeah, he's got them tied up in like a circus kind of ringmaster kind of scenario. And on his ship, he's got like a western town, and like
And Arctic stuff. And,
yeah, like this is a big
Gotham.
ship.
And he has an ape crew.
Oh, that's right. He has ape henchmen. I love it. He's so bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I agree with The Simpsons. I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. No, I like it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So Esmeralda's kidnapped. The MacGuffin of the story is
You use that term. When I see that term, I'm like, what does that mean?
the MacGuffin is an object which the movie revolves around. It doesn't matter what it is, but people it's the microfilm or it's a Maltese Falcon. It doesn't
the
matter.
MacGuffin.
But that's
Okay.
what Hitchcock brought up the name. So
The MacGuffin is the microchip that
it's
is.
for a solar cell. Or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is a ad in here for Superman versus Muhammad Ali, and I noticed that they were in the audience of the fight. There's people that I recognize. And there's Lucille Ball, and there's
I think I see.
Wayne Rogers from MASH,
Sure.
and one guy looks like Orson Welles.
I think I see Kurt Vonnegut too. But
is that Kurt? Okay.
yeah, but
Could that be Stan Lee? I don't know.
boy, that'd be funny.
Mhm.
But yeah, we got a house ad for the one of those tabloid-sized special issues, and yeah, it's the Superman versus Muhammad Ali. Great art by Neil Adams, and I can't remember who wrote it. I want to say Denny O'Neil, but I could be totally wrong. Boy, what a great team those guys were.
Yeah.
Always.
People make fun of it, but it's a comic book. It looks like it's be fun.
Yeah, it's out in trade paper. They've re-released it in like a nice standard-sized hardcover, and I've been meaning to get around and reading it because it's supposed to be pretty great.
Yeah, I like it annotated with who these people are supposed to be. But it looks like there's hundreds of people, and they all look like people. When they're drawing someone who's real, they change. It's somebody based on somebody real, even
Sure.
though you don't know the person. They draw it differently, more carefully, or something.
Yeah.
So,
Although Neil Adams was really good at getting people's likenesses.
Mhm.
There's one issue, and before we get back into the Batman, but there's one issue of the Green Lantern, Green Arrow team-ups, where there are these characters that facially they resemble Richard Nixon and Spiro Agnew. And Spiro Agnew is like the heavy. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But okay, fascinating. So Batman and Wonder Woman come down. They go to the ship. They get captured by apes. Batman gets injured, and these apes perform surgery on him. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, but Esmeralda is playing her own game. She's going out with Demetrius, and they want to take the solar cell, and then finds out that Esmeralda is playing Demetrius false as well. So it's all planned to get the solar cell from Demetrius and take it back to her father.
Yeah.
It's you can never trust mobster women. They're
No.
dangerous.
And you thought she was going to be like the innocent kidnapped girl, but no. It was all a ruse.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a clever, if convoluted plot. This is so strange.
Mm-hmm.
But
The last words, and it's a Batman. What you up to? It's the start of medical school for gorillas in case I ever need an operation. So long.
ugh.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'll give it. I don't know what I'll give it. Let's move on.
Yeah, so we've got a couple more issues of Claw the Unconquered.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Claw had run for about 9 issues, and then kind of was canceled, and they resurrected it at about a year and a half later, and it ran for 3 more issues.
Mm-hmm.
And these are 2 of those last 3.
Mm-hmm.
David Michelini is still writing it because it's his creation, but now we've got Keith Giffen on pencils, and Keith's work is kind of nice here, although I prefer the Ernie Chan art of the earlier issue, Ernie Chan and Pat Boyette. But Keith Giffen went on, as a writer and as an artist, went on to fame doing the Legion of Superheroes, Ambush Bug, and the Justice League.
Oh, great splash panel at the beginning.
Oh yeah, it's just this creepy frog monster that's like made of like corpses or something. It's really bizarre.
And a great line here. Curse you monstrosity. You make disembowelment too difficult a task.
Yes.
Still.
Yes, and I think this is The Eater of Souls is the name of the story. I don't know if that's the name of the monster, but
I don't know, but he's trying to say this raven-tressed, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
They really draw the hair great.
Oh yeah, it's very nice.
But she doesn't want to be saved, so she goes up to the monster and gets sucked into him.
Yeah, she's absorbed by the monster. I think she was intended as a sacrifice for it. Claw was going to save her, and she's like, didn't want this.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really like psychedelic kind of like scenes in this comic. I mean, it's very like, somebody's a fan of Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he meets these 3 super thinker dudes. What they are called.
He comes upon this like weird city after he beats that or fights that
Those who abide. So.
Oh wow.
So. Very well drawn. I like it. I like the drawing. Oh, Twinkie alert! The big fall. Someone falls into an elevator, and Superman saves him in the elevator and hands him all Twinkies. He does not eat them, though.
Yeah, that's kind of the way. So.
Let's see. He's fighting this. He's going after this.
Are these robots that he fights too?
Oh, it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, or like robots with like living brains inside.
A wonderful mosaic of villains or monsters. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, if you pay attention, I think the third panel is a mosaic of that monster, that Nagelfist, that monster that he had been fighting in earlier issues.
Really cool. Well drawn. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, Keith Giffen's stuff is good. It's hard to really describe some of these. It's like Claw is a neat little series for fans of sword and sorcery, but is it the greatest over the moon awesome book? No, but if you can't get enough sword and sorcery and you've got all of Conan and whatever.
I'm sure it beats He-Man comics if there was some.
There were a few, but at least in the 80s originally, but they were kind of dumbed down for kids.
I didn't think I did not think that was possible.
Yeah, I mean the He-Man comics, at least the ones that Marvel did, they're really just crappy. But there have been recent revivals. In fact, DC is doing a He-Man book right now. It's pretty good.
Oh.
And Keith Giffen is working on it. Hey, what do you know?
Okay.
It just occurred to me. So we've got Claw the Unconquered number 11, and the story is Death at Darkmorn. And David Michelini and Keith Giffen again.
Yeah.
And what's going on in this story?
Oh, Claw is angry at this king, the king of the yellow-eyed Oculus.
Oculus, of course.
He's getting revenge. Why does he get revenge? I can't remember.
Probably Oculus did something bad.
I think he may have put the claw on him. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because Claw's got his weird monster hand under that cool red gauntlet.
Yeah. Oh, he's accosted by these soldiers. Claw tells him the only thing you'll be showing is your blood.
Oh, that's great. That is a really cool line.
Okay, Darkmoor.
So yeah,
Darkmoor, there's a sorcerer. He lifts the castle in the air, so Claw can't get to it. But Claw climbs on, and the castle goes up in the air. Oh,
oh, and Oculus has this wizard that's like does his bidding kind of against his will, and he just has him cast spells or turn people into monsters to fight Claw.
And turns Oculus into monster as a fight.
Yeah, but then Claw accidentally kills this wizard, but it was the wizard's plan because this guy's dead, and then his spells fall away, so the castle in the sky crashes to the earth, and Oculus and all of his spells are gone, so it's like he's vanquished. So
yeah, Twinkie alert, imperiled sub of Aquaman. It's kind of stupid.
That's all you want to say?
Yeah, there's nothing else to say.
Okay.
Oh, about the it's also a Superman versus Shazam. That looks interesting. That in-house ad for.
Oh yeah, and that again is another one of those treasury editions, the big tabloid size.
Oh,
although
man.
that has been reprinted in a trade very recently. In fact, this year.
Yeah.
And that's like on my short list of stuff that I want because anything with Shazam, Captain Marvel, count me in.
Yeah.
So
Welcome Back Cotter limited edition.
yeah, I can't believe they did a treasury edition of Welcome Back Kotter comics.
Oh.
Ugh.
Man, I thought the show was okay when it was on in the 70s, and I went back to watch it. And said, oh my God, it's awful. It's just terrible.
And you'll find that with most sitcoms.
All in the Family's so funny. Let's see what
The Jeffersons and Good Times, I think, are still really great.
the earlier ones, yeah, before they got the Good Times with
Jimmy Walker.
no,
Oh, Esther Roll and John Amos.
John Amos ones are good. After that, it gets worse and worse and worse.
It does decline, but it's steady, but it is gradual because it goes on for another 4 seasons,
Yeah,
I think.
John Amos was good in Beastmaster.
Yes, he was. I was just gonna say, remember him in Beastmaster?
Man, yeah.
And wasn't he also in Coming to America? He was the
Yeah.
father of the American girl that Eddie Murphy went in.
Why isn't he more? Because I love seeing him get mad. And like Tony Soprano, I love seeing Tony get mad. And it's entertaining and
Sure.
it's good. So, but
Yeah. John Amos does righteous indignation very well because he backs it up with more than just like, I don't know. There's something. He's with gusto.
right.
But no, a great actor. I like John Amos a lot.
All right.
So we've got DC Superstars #3, and this reprints 2 issues of Adventure Comics, number 354 and 355, and we've got 2 full-length Legion of Superhero stories, which are connected. And the first is the Adult Legion. Jim Shooter wrote it, and with great art by Kurt Swan and George Klein.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Superman travels to the future and sees the Legion as adults.
Yeah, Matter Eater Lad, which is the stupidest of them all, I think, even worse than Bouncing Boy, is president.
He's president of America or of Earth.
I think he's the president of the whole dang thing.
Matter Eater Lad. He can turn anything into poop.
Yeah. I know he's the HQ of the Cosmic Directorate. Okay.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Museum of Older Legions. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Superman travels to the future. He breaks the time barrier and travels to the future, and sees that many of his Legion pals are married, and it stinks in this story though, is because everyone, instead of being like Cosmic Boy or Lightning Lad, everybody's like Cosmic Man, Lightning Lord, or Lightning Man, or whatever. And most of them, they just change that name a little bit, and so going through the story, you're like, oh right, that's so and so, as if keeping track of all of the Legionnaires wasn't tricky enough.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's just change all other names slightly, or most of them.
I kind of like the thing. Oh, he visits somebody, and here comes
Yeah.
Timberwolf and Lightning Man,
Yeah.
and Light Lady, and call him on the communicator.
Yeah. And it's a Colossal Boy has lost his powers, and a few of them are kind of different things. But
this is Bismoldia and equivalent to the White House. He's the president. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's right, because Superman and Brainiac 5 visited the president, who is Matter Eater Lad. Yeah.
I do love the future, and I wish we were living in this future instead of the future we are living in now.
You never know. The 30th century, we got plenty of time.
No, we do not.
Well, okay. No, we don't.
It's loads of fun.
So somebody's trying to destroy the Legion. It's a mysterious figure. We don't know, and I think that's why they called Superman, to come to the future.
Yeah. Cosmic Man is losing his hair.
Yes. Well, and did you see Brainiac 5 had like some male pattern baldness going on?
Yeah. I always like Brainiac 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's the best way to show aging. Like, okay, whiten their face and lighten the hair. So it turns out that the villain that's trying to destroy them from within is Pharaoh Lad's twin brother. Pharaoh Lad was, I think, the first Legionnaire to die. And this twin brother had erroneously thought that the Legion had let him die or used him, and whatever, and they straightened him out.
Well, he realized, look at this statue, and he must be a hero. But then somebody plays with his brain. And it's a legion of evil people.
The Legion of supervillains. That's right. There's Lightning Lord, Cosmic Queen, and Lightning. Or no, and somebody else. I can't. I don't know.
Yeah. And always the baddies is what makes the comic interesting.
Oh yeah, you could. The most interesting idea for a superhero doesn't mean anything if you don't have cool villains.
Yeah. The Pharaoh Lads, okay,
You don't see
Pharaoh
their
Lad's
face.
twin brother is Douglas Nolan. Okay. Never trust a guy named Doug, I guess.
Oh.
We know a Doug, so it's a foolie. Something's wrong with their face. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like disfigured or something, and so they have to. I think it comes along like they get their powers, but they're like deformed, and so they had to hide their faces.
Depends on the power. Say you can't.
Well, I meant specifically Pharaoh Lad and his brother.
But that's an interesting question. If you were given a superpower, would you settle? But you had to have a disfigured face. Is that an acceptable?
I would. I mean, think about it. Here's the thing: if you had the power of Superman, but then you always had to wear like an iron mask.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a fairly good trade-off because you're basically a living god.
Right.
So I don't know.
I wouldn't do it for Aquaman though.
No.
Okay.
Hey,
or
but
matter-eating lad.
Definitely not.
We're assuming that you cannot change your face.
Right.
That
Plastic Man, sure.
Yeah, Plastic Man.
Because he could change his face. He could use his power to twist around.
Okay, that's cheating.
That's cheating. Okay.
But Plastic Man, that's a cool. Most of them, I don't know. Which, well, the Thing has to deal with this.
Sure.
And the Hulk.
Yeah. Even though the Thing kind of grows to be like, he's a monster, but he's kind of lovable looking, and then he gets the beautiful blind girlfriend who thinks that, he feels, she feels his face and thinks he's great, whatever. So, it actually turns out all right for Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
But anyway, they straighten out Pharaoh Lad's brother, and yay.
Okay. A nice flash panel at the end of the story is the Legionnaires who died.
Oh, that's right. And it talks about Pharaoh Lad and also Chemical King, who would die. It's like they planned long in advance that Chemical King.
Shadow Lass. And Reflecto is still unknown. He's not yet appeared, so we can't even tell you what his
And I don't
power
know.
is.
I don't know if they ever did use Reflecto, but I do.
Quantum Queen.
I will say we have the issue, and it will be in an upcoming episode. I won't tell you which one. where Chemical King dies.
Okay.
So yeah. But the second story in this, and it's kind of a carrying on that story, it's still the plot that the Legion of Supervillains are their war against the Legion, and this story is the War of the Legions. It's the Legion of Superheroes and the Legion of Supervillains, and this is pretty rad.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh, they I think Brainiac 5 is captured by the Legion of what, Doom or what?
The Legion of Supervillains. That's what they're called.
I know.
The Legion of Doom. Although 13 of the most horrifying villains from across the galaxy. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the challenge of the
Is that
supervillains.
his name?
Ted Knight, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, what a great voice.
Oh, yeah.
God, to have that voice.
And great as Judge Smales in Caddyshack.
And he's great in Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Sure, if I'd ever seen that.
You never seen it?
Well, I know of it. I've seen clips of it, but that's not counts as me watching.
Oh, he
Tyler
plays a very good imbecile.
Okay.
Oh, so okay. Yes. There's what happened to Brainiac 5? Yes, fools. Something has happened to him. We supervillains have abducted him.
Yes, that's Cosmic King.
Do people consider themselves villains?
Apparently, these guys do. I mean, I think here's the thing: if you're just like, if it's about crime or like just amassing wealth or whatever, come on, how do you not consider yourself a supervillain? I mean, if you're like, I deserve to rule the world because I'm Mr. Awesome, well, then there's some gray. But I mean, we still always consider Lex Luthor and Doctor Doom to be
supervillains in real life.
In real life? I don't know. I think the
Idi Amin consider himself a villain? I don't think so. I don't know.
No, I mean,
great Godwin's Law, but did Hitler consider himself a villain? I don't think so.
No, and here's why. Those types, it's the ego. They think, I deserve this. This is my destiny. So they see themselves as the hero. But that, of course, makes for the most interesting villains, the most exciting. That's why Magneto is such a character that people, always liked. At least I always found his, 60s and 70s incarnation to be very nice, where he's, the nuanced villain who wants to make a place for his people. That's cool.
But I don't think there's any real life people who just want to be, except I guess your average bad biker gang who wants to be villainous, or the rap star who thinks he's or something. But I don't know.
I don't know.
Everyone gives himself, I'm doing this to help out, and I was treated badly as a kid. And but
see, I think this is one of the really awesome things about comic books is like, man, wouldn't it be great if there were people like this in real life? What an exciting world that would be to live in.
Yeah.
And it's pure fantasy. It's pure wish fulfillment. It simplifies, world issues and individual problems, but
I'm not criticizing comic books.
No,
I'm criticizing real life. I think people should. I'm a villain. I'm going to go do villainous things, and I'm going to enjoy it. So that's what I want, and I don't get it.
I'm with you. I'm not criticizing comic books. I'm just, saying what the difference here is.
How dare you even think about criticizing comic books? They're great.
Critique, but not criticize. Yeah.
Okay, so the I forgot who they are again. The Legion of Doomers.
Legion of Supervillains.
The bad guys. They send these. Each of the Legionnaires get this clue, and they go and they fight this bad guy, and it's kind of cool fights. And fairly intelligent.
Cosmic Man fights this villain called Echo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
man, what a
weird-looking villain, but
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I always like Cosmic Boy. The magnetism, that's cool,
Mm-hmm. Cosmic Girl fights
Saturn Girl. Saturn Girl fights Saturn Queen.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
and uses judo on her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Polar Man fights Beauty Blaze.
Yeah. And Element Lad, who I kind of like, fights. I think it's Cosmic King.
Mm-hmm.
Element Lad's cool. Like he's like Chemical King is kind of lame because he just causes
Chemical reaction.
Chemical Kid, he causes chemical reactions.
Rust.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But teaming up with Element Lad, because he can change transmute the properties of other things. Teaming up, they are like, their powers are really good. But it's just like, couldn't Element Lad just do everything Chemical King could do? If he can just change the structures.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But because Chemical King causes reactions or, whatever. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I would not mess up my beautiful face with that. That's superpower. And that goes with most of these. I don't know.
I think Ultra Boy is cool. I like Mon-El. Some of the Legionnaires with like just the straight I'm invulnerable, super strong.
Triplicate Lass, would that be, or
Triplicate Girl, or Duo Damsel, because remember one of her duplicates was killed.
Yeah, would that be?
That'd be cool. Marvel had a character like that, Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man, who just he split off into all these duplicates of himself. Yeah. Another Jack Kirby creation, I think.
But we have a great cameo. The good guys are getting their butts kicked, and it's real sad.
And these two mysterious armored figures come and save the day.
They're the descendants of none other than Lex Luthor and Mxyzptlk.
That's right. And then they're like inducted into the Legion.
Are they ever seen in the Legion again?
No, not that I know of. But here's the thing: that's why they did this future adult Legion story. Because come on, how ridiculous would it be to have like Mxyzptlk and Lex Luthor with them all the time?
It'd be ridiculously awesome.
It's already like, okay, Brainiac 5, the child that was raised by Brainiac, the evil supervillain, is a superhero in the future, and you're like, Brainiac, save the day, and you're like, wait, my first thought is Brainiac, the evil galactic overlord. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. There's already like a little bit of like dissonance there.
Yeah.
To have Lex Luthor in the future be a good guy and Mxyzptlk in the future be a superhero is weird.
I like it. I like the idea they're embarrassed by their forefathers.
Yeah.
And but it proves that Lex Luthor and Mxyzptlk got busy and procreated.
Oh.
Scary thought. Okay. And I'm sorry.
Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a couple more issues of Daredevil. I had forgotten. I had thought we had finished with our kind of our Daredevil
I never
block.
finished with Daredevil.
Oh no, and we will again next season, I'm sure. But we've got Daredevil number 207. The story is Ultimatum, written by Denny O'Neil. Yes, and art by William Johnson, who I don't know from Adam. But so the Black Widow has been kidnapped by agents of Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt's got to rescue her.
I love Hydra.
Gosh, they're great. Like I said, I told you before, I could read 100 issues of Captain America just fighting Hydra agents. Same with Daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah. Foggy married this awful woman.
She's not good to him. No. And she's unfaithful to him with this guy. He's like the African tribes whitey named Micah Sin.
Oh yeah, we'll see that later.
Oh yes, but he's in this issue as well. Mm-hmm. Ugh, he's just a slimeball, Micah Sin. Ugh.
Yeah.
But he's this white guy, but he's a leader of a weird African tribe. Yeah. But he's a creep. But anyway,
really great fight scene.
Oh yeah, and just fighting the crap out of Hydra agents.
Mm-hmm. Black Widow is kidnapped, and
she's mummified and held upside down, or tied up, held upside down.
And the guy in charge of the Hydra group here is an ex-West Pointer who got kicked out for sadism. And lays a bomb trap for Daredevil. So
right.
Daredevil, there's no way to know that the bomb is there except that the girl knows about it, and Black Widow knows about it. So her heart races as he gets closer and closer, so he figures out something's wrong.
Yeah, and otherwise he would just, any other guy, he would just walk into a trap.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the radar sense. I love how people not knowing that he's a blind guy and that he has this power because they just think he's an athletic guy. They underestimate Daredevil, and it's his power circumvents a lot of traps like that. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that issue we read where he fought the chameleon. The chameleon thing didn't work on Daredevil because he could tell, like, oh, I know that's not you.
Right.
You're not him. You're the chameleon. because he can tell by people's heartbeats.
Yeah, that's an interesting character. Would I lose my sight to gain those superpowers? No, sight is my favorite. No, I would lose everything else: taste, hearing,
Yeah,
smell, but sight. I mean, I like those other oh,
senses.
senses, but sight is most important
Oh yeah, that's
because I
right.
read.
Yeah,
I read comic books.
yeah,
You don't need any of those other senses for comic books.
that's right. I'd rather lose my hearing and never hear another note of music, and I love music,
Mm-hmm.
but to not be able to read comics or books, forget it.
Mm-hmm. Or watch movies.
See a beautiful
Or,
girl,
mhm.
anything. So yeah, that would just be lousy.
Yeah. Okay. So Black Widow is freed. She comes and kicks the ex West Pointer's butt.
Yeah,
Nice fight too, and the ex West Pointer gives as good as he takes, except that Black Widow wins, of course.
yeah,
That's a good fight.
yeah.
Gives her a black eye. You rarely see injury for superheroes.
Especially a woman,
Hmm.
But yeah, she gets a black eye, and then she and Matt celebrate over a nice glass of wine or something like, yay, we beat Hydra.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so we fast forward a few issues later to Daredevil number 213. And this story is The Blindness Men Wish For, written again by Danny O'Neill, and art by David Mazzucchelli, which is very nice. And this is Daredevil is in the thick of it with Micah Sin, who is just a creep, and he's holding Foggy's wife basically captive. She left Foggy because Foggy was boring, and she thought Micah was exciting. But then this guy just treats her like dirt,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
he's just this the ruthless evil guy.
right.
And Matt's actually kind of teamed up with the Kingpin forged an alliance with the Kingpin to get rid of Micah Sin.
Yeah, it's cool. There is a corrupt professor. How often do we see this?
All the time in comics.
Do we?
Think about it. Professor Miles Warren, Spider-Man.
Oh.
He's the Jackal.
No, not Doc Ock, I guess.
Oh yeah, but I mean, and there's another professor at some university that Peter Parker went to who became the Light Master, another supervillain.
But he's not a villain. He's just corrupt.
Oh,
This guy.
well, okay, but I'm
So
just
that's an odd thing. I guess
you're saying usually if they're evil, they're full blown evil, and this
Right.
is just shades. Okay.
Yeah. And and I, and I guess you're playing a video game. It'd be an NPC, somebody who just happens to be the guy selling potions or something like that.
Oh.
And you're just meeting, but you're not supposed to kill him, or
Right.
and they're not coming with you to help you, or it's not a real another person.
They're a stationary kind of
Yeah.
character. But this guy plays heavily into this story.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, really cool. Man, yeah, Micah Sin is awful.
Yeah. Ugh.
Man, it's really bad, nasty cult, and super cruel.
Oh, and he's just a pig.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. And what they are these English colonists who were cut off from everybody, so they survive, but they haven't really changed. They kind of grown savage.
Yeah.
Oh, I was turning, and here is an ad for Pryor's Place. I
Yeah.
had no idea he was on CBS.
Yeah, Richard.
They watched the Richard Pryor show?
Yeah, Richard Pryor. Yeah, there's an advertisement in there. Richard Pryor had very briefly had a children's show on CBS in the '80s, Pryor's Place, which it's like a Muppet type of show with Richard Pryor.
And there's Dungeons and Dragons. which
Yeah,
I used to like.
it's a whole Saturday morning kind of ad they have, and yeah, they've got what else? They have the Get Along Gang and
Pole Position.
Yeah.
Muppet Babies, which I despise.
really.
Oh man. They,
See, I liked it when I was a kid, but
No, well, I was in my 20s when I watched this.
well, it wasn't for you, it
No,
wasn't
but I mean,
because you love the
No, but
original
I-
Muppet Show.
I like it fine. I don't like Miss Piggy, but I don't like younger versions of shows.
Oh, you
I
would
don't
have
like- I don't-
hated you would have hated a pup named Scooby Doo.
Oh yes, I hated that, and I hated the Flintstone kids.
Oh yeah, I remember the
Man,
Flintstone kids.
when
Yeah.
Fred was young, man, I don't know, something
What I
about
watched
that.
that for was they would have the backup cartoon of Captain Caveman.
Oh, okay. I don't know what about it. It just
Yeah, it's just like a
the
bad
people are.
idea.
I
Like
don't
when
know if
they
it's a
did the
bad
Young
idea. It's just not
Archies.
done well.
Remember they did that?
Oh God, yeah, that's not. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sugar, sugar, da 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 da.
No, I'm not talking about the regular Archies.
I
They had
know,
the
no,
Young
no,
Archies,
yeah.
but
It's
always
on.
just it's just lame.
Yeah.
They do the Teen Titans, and now they've got like the
I
dumbed
don't know.
down
That
thing
might
of
be
Teen
okay.
Titans
That
Go, which is even
I don't know.
more.
I don't know. I don't. It's not impossible to do this correctly, I guess, or do it well, but I haven't seen it done well.
Well, because it's probably
Bad
not
idea.
possible.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
Okay,
anyway,
so
back to Daredevil.
Daredevil's in here. And they're just Froggy's wife.
Foggy.
Foggy. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. All right.
Okay.
Oh, Micah Sin is eating a popsicle and and lording it over uh, Foggy's wife, who's washing, who's mopping the floor with her hands in a scrub, which
Yeah.
is supposedly the only correct way to mop a floor.
Okay.
And she asks his help from this woman who just spits on her.
Yeah, and she's like from.
Dumps the soap,
Yeah.
the dirty
Yeah,
water.
because she's just a filthy, pig member of Micah Sin's tribe.
Mm-hmm.
She thought that she could have a little girl time, some sympathy or whatever. Wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
She's
getting
quite
some
passionate.
she's getting some comeuppance because she was kind of a shrew wife to Foggy,
Mm-hmm.
but and I think they've since divorced if I'm not mistaken. But don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still awful the way she's treated. It's still wrong.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. Man, here's another advertisement for Secret Wars with Doctor Doom.
oh yeah, that's right. In the 80s, Marvel had the Secret Wars limited series, and it was basically traded to sell an action figure line, and they had the Secret Wars line, and this was for a couple years in competition with DC's Superpower collection, which are vastly superior toys, and a vastly
He has a secret decoder shield.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
And it has a secret message. It looks like the Baxter building is blowing up or something.
yeah.
Oh, fascinating. Well, okay, back to the story. It's the corrupt professor is killed. Foggy's almost killed. And then here comes Daredevil save the day. He beats up everybody.
Oh yeah, because Foggy he finds out that his wife is being held. He thinks he's going to go and confront Micah Sin like a chump. And so, of course, Matt has to tail him and save his butt, which he does.
Yeah, Foggy has a mustache.
That's right, because it's the 80s.
Yeah.
Surprised he doesn't have a mullet.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool. The special subscriber club advertisement with
Alpha
what?
Flight.
Is that what's his name?
No, the group of characters you're seeing is Alpha Flight. That's the Sasquatch.
Alpha Flight. Yeah.
There's Puck and Namora and North Star,
Yeah,
whatever
look
that
like
chick's
having a
name
good
is.
time.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got a couple issues of the Defenders, and boy, these are really not a great pair of issues to get what the Defenders are about. But we'll try. The first one we've got is Defenders number 28, and the story is My Mother the Badoon, written by Steve Gerber, art by Sal Buscema.
I hate the name.
Great creative team, but this is a team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and fighting their enemy, the Badoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is this race of lizard people.
Yeah. In the Guardians Galaxy, there are these colonists. Martinax was a colonist from Pluto. Charlie 27, Jovian colonist.
Yeah, several of them they're genetically altered to colonize different worlds.
And Nighthawk doubles his strength at night. Valkyrie is she's
Nighthawk and Valkyrie are members of the Defenders.
oh, okay. All right.
Let me give you the
I'm sorry.
breakdown of who's a defender,
Okay,
and that's why I
sorry.
was saying this issue is not a great one to go in, because if you don't know the Guardians or the Defenders, you're like, who's in what team? The Guardians at this time there's like Starhawk, uh, Captain Vance Astro, Charlie 27, Martin X, and Yondu. Now, of all of the original Guardians, only Yondu is going to be in the movie that's coming up, but not as a good guy, as a villain.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know what that's about because I haven't read the new
Yeah,
Guardians
when
comics.
you do stuff like that, it's a danger signal of, I don't know,
Yeah,
changing the. I mean, a movie doesn't have to be perfectly based on the subject matter, but once you really change it around, then why make the movie at all?
yeah. I don't know how. I see that movie as just like a bomb that's just going to,
Hmm.
maybe ruin, the momentum of the Marvel movies. I'm like, why would you choose that property? Why it has no name recognition in the public
I had
outside of
no idea.
comics?
I thought it was some Japanese anime thing or something.
Ugh.
I had no
Well,
idea.
I would definitely say don't see that then,
Yeah.
but no, that's not the case. But
But I mean, yeah, but that's what probably people think. Oh, it
who
must be
knows?
some kids show or something.
Sure.
You had no idea, and you know,
I
basing
don't.
a
I don't see
movie,
that movie is going to go gangbusters. I just don't see
it,
it,
yeah,
and I'd like to be wrong.
it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Stranger things have
I
happened.
always, if it's a comic book related movie, I always hope it will do well,
Hmm.
but I don't see that one happening.
This is one with the squirrel in it, right?
Rocket Raccoon.
Same difference. It's a rodent. It's
Yeah,
so yeah, it's
but
a talking rodent.
yes. Well, there's also Groot, who was like a tree, a
Oh.
living tree, and Drax the Destroyer, who I know you like, is also in
Hmm.
that as one of the Guardians. So
Ah.
I'll go see it, but
Hmm.
I don't expect it to be a full theater.
How
But
do they sell it? They're spending $100 million releasing this movie. How do they sell it to?
I'm like, they're doing this instead of a Daredevil reboot, really? Because that is a character people know.
Yeah,
So
and Daredevil's not that famous. It's not top tier of the Marvel.
well, he is to me,
Well known. I mean,
but
of
but
popularity.
neither were the Avengers. I mean, people are like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I know who. I've heard of Captain America and Iron
that's
Man.
true too.
In
Yeah.
those movies, they became hits kind of surprisingly, and they
Hmm.
built on that. Iron Man was a surprise hit. You know,
Yeah.
so but then again, the Hulk is a major recognized property. The first Hulk movie didn't do so great, and then the other
Yeah,
one
it
did.
wasn't so great.
It wasn't. You're right. And then the second Hulk movie, which was great, um, did underwhelmingly at the box
Well,
office.
it's too soon. Everyone thought it was the same movie. So,
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, my folks were like, "Oh, I don't want to see that," because they had seen the first one that sucked, and I was like, "No, it's really good."
I've got to see it. So.
Yeah, well, it is good. Edward Norton is Bruce Banner in that one. So, but anyway, back to this story.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I've
yes.
identified who the Guardians are,
Okay.
and the Defenders are Doctor Strange, Nighthawk, the Valkyrie, and the Hulk.
Mm-hmm. Who? Um,
So yeah,
Oh, it's interesting. There's this culture they're fighting against, and it's male and female, and they fight each other
yeah,
like today. No, but it's kind of like the first Amazons, as in the males are super warlike, and
yeah,
the women. I mean, they'll fight, but they'd rather not, and they get together and mate somehow. It's kind of glossed over,
yeah,
but it's interesting.
yeah,
Nice city.
yeah.
I always like to see futurescapes.
Yeah, and it is cool. This is the future. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy are kind of Marvel's equivalent to the Legion, sorta.
Hmm.
Only they never had like that many team members, and they kind of like are a traveling group rather than have a set base of operations. Their ship is called the Captain America, which I like.
Oh,
But yeah, so the Defenders go to the future and they help the Guardians fight their enemy, the Badoon. That's pretty much the premise of this story.
yeah.
And Sal Buscema's art is great. Steve Gerber is a great writer. This is such a mash because there's kind of too many characters and stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a super death sweepstakes. You could have made a whole comic book on this
Yeah,
with a guy. What's his name?
I
It's
think-
Monty, and
Yeah.
Monty Hall was
Sure.
the guy for. Oh, a famous
Yeah.
game show, which escapes my mind now. But there's this one person saying, "Yay, death, yay!"
Yeah,
because
that's so creepy, and it's so indicative of Steve Gerber trying to make a statement about something. But what is
and
this game? Doesn't the Hulk have to fight Yondu? They're
yes,
gonna make them fight.
fight these
They're
robot
robots.
chariots, and they're
Yeah,
it's kind of they're it's kind of
Yondu's cool, and he's kind of got like a Native American kind of thing going.
No, is it the Mohawk or the?
It's the Mohawk. He's got the bow with these magic arrows. Or they're not really magic, but it's like they have properties that make them return to him. And I don't know. He's an interesting character. Of all the Guardians, I think he's the coolest.
That'd be a cool superpower to have objects return to you. Hey,
Like Thor's,
keys.
like Thor's hammer or Captain
Right.
America's shield.
Yeah, this sort of be a useful thing.
Yeah.
That's a common.
What if Batman had batarangs that always came back, like a real boomerang?
Well, don't they?
No.
I mean, they're not. I mean, they're not magical, something like that. But I think they'll.
Here's the thing. I've seen him throw ones that are like a boomerang with a rope, with the bat rope around it, and he ties somebody up or whatever. He swings around and comes back
like a bolo.
like a real boomerang. But I've also seen more and more. It's just batarangs are like shuriken that are bat shaped. That seems to be what they do with it now. So, because I think they'd rather have Batman tackle somebody and punch them a whole bunch rather than just swing a thing and they're all tied up.
Yeah.
Because visually it just looks cooler to have him punch guys. So yeah, that story is kind of whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. The other issue I think is a little more palpable to a new reader. It's Defenders number 68, and it's called Valhalla Can Wait, written by David Kraft and Ed Hannigan, and terrific art by Herb Trimpe, who is the classic Hulk artist.
Mm-hmm.
But the Defenders have journeyed to Asgard, and they're engaging in this war on the side of and in behalf of the Valkyrie, who has kind of been duplicated, and she's got an evil double, and there's a good version, and we're not sure which one is which, but
yeah, it's kind of confusing.
they fight this weird guy with a goofy mask.
Oh God, that's the only thing I don't like about this.
What's this guy's name? Scorpio or something like that? It's something like that.
Mr. Goofball. I'm not sure. Who cares?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, who cares is right. But anyway, the Defenders, and now joined by Hellcat, who is Patsy Walker. She was the fashion model character from one of Marvel's non-hero titles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's and they tie it. Millie the model exists in the Marvel universe. These are not outside of the thing. So
interesting.
Yeah. So it's just kind of funny.
The thing about this, and there's a war going on, and it's how rare do we see a war? I mean, they can do it now. Modern wars are so vast, and wars happen over hundreds of miles.
Yeah, but the realms of Asgard, they're not that big.
Right, and it's huge, but you can get into a balloon and you can see the whole thing.
Yeah,
and so we see what's going on, and I'm just surprised this isn't done more often.
Yeah,
and it's kind of neat. It'd be a great way to teach history. And I'm surprised. Yeah, it seems like it'd be great for comic books to do that. It would be in the Battle of Waterloo, whatever.
Yeah, I mean those kinds of comics do exist. I mean, but
really, it hasn't reached my consciousness yet.
I think. Well, here's the thing. That's why the Classics Illustrated or any educational or religious comics always they're on the margins of comic book because people see comic books for escapism, not to learn something.
Right.
So if you're going to teach somebody something, you have to teach values in a lesson through a story. So, but giving somebody a straight factual thing or straight history, you can do a couple page spread or a 1-page educational bit, but usually they want the stories to be just an adventure.
Okay.
So,
granted, not everybody loves history like I do.
Or I.
But it's interesting. They could do more wars like this, and I wish they would. The vast amount of people fighting. It's always a dozen people fighting, and that's about the most.
It's hard to get a lot of figures, in a
but
fight.
they do it here, and they do it well, and I like it.
But not everyone is good at doing like tons and tons of characters in a story. It gets
they just did a little bit. I mean, it should turn up more than it does.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every comic book should have this. I think it should just be a little bit more would do that, and it would be more interesting. But yeah, it's betrayals and fighting, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and it's great to see the Hulk there.
Oh, and the Hulk destroys a mountain, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is done by the great Hulk artist. I mean, other than Kirby, Herb Trimpe is definitely the best, and then Sal Buscema after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Trimpe is the classic Hulk artist.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Twinkie alert!
It's Iron Man. Yeah.
Cool. An irresistible force. Iron Man does not eat a Twinkie, and we have a villain with his tongue stuck up. And delight. So
Yeah.
maybe we should have the Twinkie strategy for fighting crime.
Yes, we'll have to develop that later.
Yeah. Well, here's Hela, who they're fighting.
She's the ruler of was it Niflheim or Muspelheim of Hell in Asgard.
What a great, she's a great villain because she doesn't want to do evil. She's going to take your soul.
She's the goddess of death in Asgard. This is her role. It's almost like she doesn't relish it. She just does what she is supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's not like Loki, who's like always scheming and plotting. She's just like, okay, I'm the goddess of death, but it's almost like she's not that into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my job. I'm not. Yeah. No.
Yeah. It's just a job. My real passion is knitting. So
that'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah. So.
Yeah. Superheroes have hobbies.
Yeah.
Hulk knitting would be, or the Thing knitting would be fun.
Oh my gosh. Didn't we read one where he had a big sweater with the Star of David on it that somebody knitted for him? Or dreidels or something on it?
Or something.
Yeah. But anyway, we can move on. So we've got, to round out the show, we've got a trio of Superboy issues.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, we're just... here's our second dose in the in the episode of Legion stories, although I don't think the opening story here is. Superboy number 191, The Kid with the Super Brain, written by Leo Dorfman, grown, and art by Bob Brown and Murphy Anderson. So great artistic team.
Yeah. That was my nickname as a child.
What?
The Kid with the Super Brain.
Was it?
No. What a...
The computer wore tennis shoes. No.
Yeah. That was kind of fun. There's this kid, and it has a super brain, and she figures out all this stuff about Superboy. And I don't know. I'd like to see her more often. I like super intelligent characters, and it's difficult to show that in any kind of medium because you have to think of some super intelligent for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And super intelligent people are not writing comic books. They're
sure they are.
They're splitting atoms or something like that.
There's different intelligences, okay, and I think there are many great writers in comics.
Right.
Leo Dorfman is not one of them. He's a cornball.
And there's room for cornball. I enjoyed it, but yeah. I don't know. You see this show, and someone's got this clever scheme, and it wouldn't fool a 4-year-old. It's
the suspension of disbelief to let's tell a story.
Right. But you can only have so much suspension of disbelief, and sometimes it. If you're trying to be a serious crime drama or something, and then all of a sudden here's a stupid plot that's just. Then it breaks the suspension of disbelief. Well,
that's why I don't like Superboy stories unless it's Superboy and the Legion, because if it's Superboy in Smallville, it's almost always a groaner. It's always something stupid that I'm like, I could have lived without reading this.
Oh.
Almost always. 9 out of 10 Superboy in Smallville stories are just like, this sucks.
It's nothing that I particularly really have to watch, but
yeah. And I didn't mean the show. I meant in comics. Because I've never seen the show. I've never watched Smallville.
Oh, neither one.
Yeah.
So,
But anyway, was there anything really notable about the story you wanted to talk about?
I like the girl, but we'll move on. Okay, so,
Yes. So the real reason to read this issue is the Legion of Superheroes story, and it is Attack of the Sun Scavenger, written by Carrie Bates, and art by the late Dave Cockrum.
yeah,
Normally I don't like Carrie Bates, but I feel like where he's good is when he's writing Legion stuff.
it's fun. We find the Legion at a birthday party for Sunboy.
Yay!
And Bouncing Boy has got his hands on his stomach, ready to eat that cake. Like a really cool looking cake. They have this. It's like sparklers, but they're super sparklers or something.
From the future,
Yeah.
from the 30th century.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Sunboy's birthday party is interrupted because they're attacked. The Legion are attacked by Dr. Regulus, who is one of their archenemies, particularly of Sunboy.
He comes in as this worker of modern art, and it's as bad in the future as it is today. A rare piece of Arguvian slab sculpture for your collection. No thanks. But it's really cool fight.
Yeah, he really sends the Legionnaires scattered. I
And he
mean,
gets his butt
Cosmic
kicked, and he
Boy.
dies, and he asks him to send him the sun.
Yeah,
But the sun is a trap, makes the sun collector super powerful.
yeah, it kind of brings Dr. Regulus back, like it was a trick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Ship that looks like a Klingon warbird.
yeah, and then of course Sunboy's there to face Dr. Regulus again. He's got a cool costume as Dr. Regulus.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
They give him necro crystals instead of flowers. That's kind of
Yeah, necro crystals.
yeah.
Oh, only in comics. But yeah, I really like this orange and yellow costume that he's got. It's
Yeah. And fighting against another orange and yellow.
with Sunboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Sunboy and Lightning Lad team up, and they're able to overpower Dr. Regulus.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Bouncing Boy every fat guy's dream to be fat and be a superhero or something like that? Or is it,
Yeah, I don't know.
What's the deal?
I don't know. I don't really
Why
know a
is
lot
he
about
there?
the creation of Bouncing Boy. I like him just fine. I think he's a good Legionnaire. But
Really?
yeah, he's good at what he does. He bounces.
Bouncing.
Whatever.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
but look, come on, fat guy getting all the girls. This is nerd fan service,
Right,
okay?
exactly.
Because he marries the girl who can turn into 2 chicks,
Yeah.
who used to be able to turn into 3 chicks, but they're like, no. That's just too much.
Yeah.
If Triplicate Girl hadn't had her other duplicate die, I think that would be even better. But yeah.
Yeah, there's hope for me. And a
Exactly.
comic book nerd says.
Yeah, and believe me, if you're a fan of the Legion of Superheroes, you are definitely a nerd.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. If you even know who the Legion of Superheroes are. But the next issue that we've got to talk about is Superboy number 200, and this story is The Legionnaire Bride of Starfinger, written by Carrie Bates and art again by Dave Cockrum. And this is the wedding of Bouncing Boy and Duo Damsel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bouncing Boy is losing his power.
Yeah, but he doesn't care. I'm like, I'm gonna get married and whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
And he talks to Duo Damsel, and she says yes. She's liked him a long time, apparently.
yeah. Well, I think they were together.
Were they?
Well, no, what? I like you, and now, hey, let's get married.
Oh,
No.
well, yeah, I guess you're right. But I've read a lot of Legion, but I haven't read much in this time.
Oh, sure. And
so
I've read a bunch of Legion stuff, but I am not like an expert at like the entire history. So it's all exploratory, and I want to continue because I just enjoy them a great deal. I think their whole setup is fun.
yeah, there is a Metropolis extraterrestrial botanical gardens. Wouldn't you love to go there?
Yes.
I would love to go to this future. It's just cool. spaceships. It's the 1950s, what everyone thought the Jetson
Sure. Yeah, and they've
future's
kind
going to
of
be.
maintained that look for throughout the Legion's history. I mean, this is the 70s now, but it's still the future looks like that.
That's cool.
And that's good. I'm glad that it kept that consistent,
I don't. Yeah, going dystopian would be bad.
Yeah, I mean, you get that in the even further history, like the stuff that Jack Kirby did, The Great Disaster with Commandy, Last Boy on Earth, and OMAC. Those take place in an even further in the future.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind dystopian, but for the Legion to be bad.
Or does the Legion take place after the Great Disaster? I think it takes place after the Great Disaster.
Yeah.
It's like the world is restored. But
that's not a dystopian future. I mean, if everybody's happy, it's not dystopian. That's my.
No. In the Great Disaster, things are bad.
Right.
But
after that, it's good. So that's not dystopian.
Wait, a dystopian? Come on, look at every dystopian movie. The evilness usually gets overturned at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
so does that make it not dystopian?
But most of the movie happens in a dystopian when everything's bad.
Okay, I'm not saying the Legion is dystopian. I'm saying the Great Disaster stuff with Commandy.
Oh yeah,
is.
okay, I agree with that. I'm saying that I don't want the Legion happening.
No.
In dystopian, maybe 1 or 2 issues.
I'd love to see a story where the Legion go back to the Great Disaster period. That would be cool.
But for them to say,
and they could do that in the time bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I would like that. I'd be ugly for a time bubble.
We'll put that on your tombstone. I'd be ugly for a time bubble. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Exactly.
Oh. So anyway, Duo Damsel gets kidnapped or something, and
one of her
bodies, one of her 2 bodies, and it's it's
she
not later.
She doesn't know this.
It's kidnapped.
She's brains wiped. And then she comes back and she's marrying Bouncing Boy, and it's wonderful. Saturn, is it Saturn? One of the moons of Saturn or something?
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Awesome. You see everyone in the Legion is there.
And
in fact,
Bouncing Boy has a great outfit.
Yeah, his groom's outfit. And I'm looking at this panel. Not only do we get the Legion, but we get the substitute, the Legion of Substitute heroes. But also, if you'll notice, John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, is also present.
Is he immortal?
Well, Martians, they live a long, long time, centuries and centuries. So, yeah, he is essentially immortal.
Legion.
Legion. There's a balcony shot with the Legion and other people. Not everyone in there is a Legion. There's this other team of future heroes that I can't remember what they're called that also exist at that time, and they're there. It's like all the Legion's friends that are there in the future. And I think it's cool that John Jones is there.
Yeah, they hold hands over this huge diamond. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, this wedding splash page is really lovely.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool. But this evil guy, Starfinger, has half the Dual Damsel.
That's right. And Starfinger is one of the classic Legion villains. He was one of their main adversaries in the Silver Age.
Yeah, Starfinger has a spaceship shaped like Starfinger. He was amused. And he has this flying dragon.
Yeah.
I'd be having fun with flying dragon.
Yeah, he kidnaps Duo Damsel because he wants to find a way to duplicate her power and have armies of himself to conquer the galaxy or whatever, which is pretty clever.
Yeah. I would wear a stupid helmet for that.
Yeah, he does have a stupid helmet. His costume is weird. Big helmet. He's like, if Black Manta wasn't cool, that's what this guy looks like.
Yeah, exactly. He has these pectorals going down.
And it's just armor plating, but it looks like big, like weird pectoral muscles. Now, is this resolved in this issue?
Yes and no. He escapes. So.
But Duo Damsel's rescued, right?
And they go off to the honeymoon.
Yay! So one thing I want to mention, Dave Cockrum, who did the art on these, and this was his thing. There was something that DC wasn't going to let him do with the Legion, and then so he jumped ship and went to Marvel. And he had a couple of Legionnaires that were like down in the pipeline that he was gonna use, but they ended up becoming X-Men instead, like Nightcrawler.
Oh.
Nightcrawler, Colossus. I know Nightcrawler for sure. He was almost a Legionnaire. And those costumes, if you look at those original costumes, like looks like the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved it if those characters got to be Legionnaires because I don't care that much about the X-Men. Even although that 70s iteration of the X-Men I really do love, but I'm just tired of the whole concept.
Oh man, it's so complicated, and there's so much drama there. It's just, oh man, I can't get into it.
I can get into soap opera. I mean, there's certainly that in the Legion or many other superheroes, but
there's too much.
And the X-Men concept, it's like it doesn't wash because it's inconsistent. Like what everybody hates these superpowered people, but they love the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
That's crap.
Yeah, although Spider-Man has fun with that.
Sure.
But he has the press against him, and that's understandable. But
even that went away because he became an Avenger.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't read I haven't read very many modern Marvel or DC comics in a long while, maybe 10, 20 years. So.
Well, maybe go to the public library and just check out some trades to see, whet your palate for free.
I hate libraries.
You work in a library.
Oh, and I shouldn't know.
Yeah.
I love libraries, but I want to check out books from places I don't work. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you could probably get them through Summit here. So
I guess I could.
Yeah, but anyway, our last issue for the episode is Superboy number 221, and the story is The $1 Trillion Trophies, written by Jim Shooter and art by Mike Grell.
Yeah.
Now this is a Legion story again.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Yeah. Interesting villains. They both have different agendas.
Yeah. There's this guy, he's like a master of restraint.
And we mentioned this earlier.
Yeah. And I can't remember his name.
Oh, Grimbar.
Oh, Grimbor, that's right.
And Charma, who charms guys.
Yeah, but all women hate her.
Yeah.
They instinctively want to do violence against her.
But
Charma, she's like this waifish girl and really lovely the way she's drawn. Mike Grell, great artist.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she just charms the pants off of every guy.
Yeah, including Superman with his super intellect and super sense of humor.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And Grimbor is he's allied with her, he's totally in love with her because everyone is, every guy is.
He was going to, she was in an orphanage and all the women there hated her.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have her chained up, and Grimbor is, what is he? He's no mere locksmith. He's the greatest master of bondage, restraint, and security in the universe.
Which you can take this in all kinds of weird implications.
And
but boy, he'd be a great guy to fight Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Because you remember all Golden Age Wonder Woman stuff. It's like she or somebody else is tied up on like every page. So.
Yeah, and she used the lasso in this week's episode.
Oh yeah.
So Grimbor wants he likes making these trophies of people he's captured.
Okay.
And he captures people and locks them up for fun and profit.
Yeah.
And Charma wants to be super rich.
Okay.
So they locked up Superboy and who is the other one? Timberwolf?
Yeah, I think it's Timberwolf.
And that's no mean feat there.
I mean, they're both pretty powerful. Obviously. But I love that Colossal Boy is in this. Colossal Boy and Chameleon Boy I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The trouble with the Legion is there's so many members, so you're not going to get your favorite characters spotlighted in every issue.
No.
Shadow Lass, who I like, is she's kind of like there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give her much to do, but let's have her around.
Okay.
She's
easy on the eyes.
Yeah, and she's Mon-El's girlfriend too, so that's cool.
Oh, cool. A DC line of superstars.
Oh, another house ad.
House ad. Cobra, which I had not heard of.
Cobra, this with a K. Yeah, he was a supervillain, and he led a terrorist organization of the same name. It predates the G.I. Joe characters. So, but yeah, he even had it. Yeah, like I said like it says in this ad, he had his own series for a while. I think his series lasted longer than the Joker's, so more power to Cobra for that.
Yeah. It's hard to write. Actually, that's an interesting concept.
Have the
But
villain as a central figure?
yeah, but you can't have the villain win. So what do you got to do? You
Well, yeah, I
know,
mean,
it's kind of I almost came close.
yeah,
And sort of
you know,
it gets old.
Marvel did well with characters that kind of walk that line, like Namor and the Hulk. You could do that. But with somebody who's like, well, you got to have them as the heavy all the time, it's kind of hard to do.
Because they're not classic villains. They have their point of view. Mankind has treated them badly, so they have a point.
Yeah.
But Joker is just a villain, and a wonderful villain.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh,
and Namor is a
mhm.
wonderful character. I just love him. So anyway, the Legion, they're fighting to rescue Superboy and Timberwolf from Grimbor and Charma. Right?
Yeah. So Charma's thing is, men cannot bear to see her harmed.
Hmm.
Interesting. And she
Doesn't
is.
Shadowlass or somebody like just break her nose or something in this?
Mhm. She's pale yellow. So they threaten Grimbor and
Grimbor
Charma.
fights Colossal Boy to a standstill,
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive. He's pretty cut, this guy
mhm.
is. So,
Yeah, he looks really old. It's kind of cool. So,
yeah, he's like middle aged, but he's like really fit. I guess in
hmm
the future it must be
yeah.
easier or something.
Well, the women legionnaires, of course, fight Charma,
Yeah.
but then the legionnaires defend Charma.
Well,
They
yeah,
can't help
because
it.
her power is just kind of like it's on all the time.
hmm It's interesting. I don't know, interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I like Cosmic Boy's updated costume at this point. It looks really cool.
Oh, this. Um,
That's him right there.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, not bad.
him in the pink and black. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it's a testament. It's like I can't believe a guy in a pink costume could look that cool. Element Lad had a pink costume, but he never looked that cool.
hmm
Um,
Yeah. Okay, but a bunch of fighting and fighting, and they finally figure out how to defeat Charma.
yeah.
But Grimbor captures all the Legionnaires, and except for one who is hiding out. And he says, "I'm not going to give him up for ransom. I'm going to keep him as trophies."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which is
But it's counter to what Charma wants because she wants all this money.
right. Yeah, Charma's a redhead.
She's yellow and she's a gold digger.
Oh,
See?
I did not even know.
See? Think about that.
Yeah. hmm
I really like Mike Grell's art on this. It's really
It's
nice.
pretty cool. I like it. It's very cool story. Didn't know where it was going. I like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, that's about that for this issue.
Mhm.
One piece of news I did want to mention. We are now kind of joined forces with this podcast hub online called rhymeswithgeek.com, and you can find us, our show, and other cool shows to stream or download from there.
Oh,
And it's already bringing us more subscribers and
is it really?
leaders. Yeah,
Cool.
so right on. And that was just something I started this week, so excellent.
Oh, all right. Happy to be aboard.
Yay! So I guess we'll do this again next week.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Take care.